Morning, everyone. Welcome to Embody Your True Essence with me, Ikue. I am back. I hope you guys can hear me. Check my microphone. Step 12 is a Sagittarius, I believe day, and today is the last day of January. I'm very excited to be back. It's my second time saying that. How are you guys feeling today? Today is Friday and we're gonna have a weekend, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's happening. I'm looking forward to reading what series Joy has to say. But type in a comment if you had a good sleep or how you're feeling, your mood, all of that. For me, I'm definitely recovering from all the craziness I taught in school for 2 days. And when I teach in school, it takes a lot out of me, and I'm learning to really pace myself. But at the same time, it's definitely the energy that it's just like hectic and have lots of responsibility, and I had to come up with 7 different dance pieces. I'm a dance teacher, and when I go out to school, and especially for elementary school kids, they have to um, do a dance performance at the end of the dance program. So I have to put on 7 different dance pieces. That's a lot of responsibility. So yeah, I'm just doing it. I mean, for me especially, I will make sure I have fun with it, but at the same time, it's a different world, differently. I normally like to teach dance at a dance studio, or I used to do more, but right now it's a lot less. And yeah, it's a different world. I have to wake up early, and then what else? I have to wake up early, and be in the school system where I have to go with that time slot, and then have to keep it really rigid, right? So that's kind of like keep me on track. But it's a lot of responsibility, and yeah, hope you can hear me. I checked my microphone, but I feel like I had to adjust my microphone. How are you guys feeling? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Embody Your True Essence. I'm on TikTok Live and Instagram Live, both of them. And I was away for 2 days. I was teaching in school, and I wanted to go on live somehow, but it was physically just really challenging, so I couldn't do that. But I'm back and recovering. So today is a Sagittarius day, step 12, Aquarius. Aquarius is all about we are learning where we belong and where we don't belong. Yes, much love, Busy. Okay, I think you can hear me, right? I'm just making sure you can hear me. I don't know. Sometimes I have this paranoid thought that it's like, can people hear me? So I am here. So let's read what Sears Joy has to say. Step 12. Jupiter, I believe energy rules the day today, and coupled with the moon in Pisces, that can get deep. So it's a deep day. As Venus climbing towards Neptune is opening to the mission, Pluto at 2 degrees Aquarius in bringing to light new feelings. Allow curiosity with time and space, but don't feed the fears. Need help staying focused, getting depth, daily guidance. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Next. Today, Net 3, I believe, is a ruling state of awareness. In this 24-hour period, you'll be expanding your awareness of your day-to-day surroundings and vibration. Expanding your awareness. Because everything is up to our vibration, up to our awareness. If you are not aware, if you're not able to catch your toxic pattern, and you repeat, right? This is how karma works. In order for us to reverse that, I guess it's not that easy, but it's not that difficult. Because if you are able to catch that, in order to do so, you need to really calm down our nervous system, and maybe moving fascia, do yoga, meditation, so that you can catch your pattern. So then you notice, like, why am I doing this toxic pattern to myself? You catch yourself and look at it. And it's like, I see you, I feel you, I love you, I choose to let go because I love myself. So, and This magically, this is how you can break the pattern. And when it comes back again, and it's tell myself, I love myself, I love myself, I accept myself, and this does not belong to me. And repeat. And do that, eventually you notice how far you've come. Basically, you are overcoming your struggles, overcoming whatever that holding you back. And by loving yourself, by choose to love yourself, because all the shadows, all the toxic patterns, all the karmic patterns kept that stuck, is basically our shadow where we did not know how to shed the light, right? So all we have to do is to bring the light, and we all know that. All we have to do is to bring the light. In order to bring the light is to basically choose to love yourself. So we're gonna move some energy to, okay. So, okay, so you may first believe that, okay, you will find that you are sensitive to the vibe that a person, place, or situation is putting off. You may first believe that something is wrong with you. If that's the case, you may benefit from meditation on your own feelings through prayer, chanting, yoga, or another spiritually purifying exercise. Yeah, definitely super important. This is part of it. I believe that I do this and showing up for myself, I'm definitely moving my energy, and it really helps me just enlighten myself, uplift myself. And we need to do that every single day. And this is my promise to myself. And it's reprogramming our mind, right? And fascia, because I work with fascia. So now, I keep sidetracked. Okay, so by turning your back to the world and instead inward, you can identify how you're feeling independently. This allows you to separate your feelings from what you are picking up in your world. So it's very important when you wake up, this is my energy, this is how I'm feeling, now I'm ready to show up to the world. Then by doing so, you can differentiate your feelings from other people's feelings. So you don't take things personally. You don't take things, to yourself, to your heart. It's like, is there something wrong with me? No, there's nothing wrong with you. And then so that you can just, ground yourself, and you can help others if you know where you stand, and you can see where other people stand, and then you can come up with a solution, right? To move through that energy and transmute them. Now, so this is how you can, ground yourself. We're going to move some energy, but let me just finish reading. This allows you to separate your feelings from what you are picking up in your world. Step 12 is a combination of your heart, step 1, and your feelings, step 2. So we're based on the sun sign in Aquarius right now, and I'm using this Serious Joy astrology app that they talk about 11-step system, and 12 represent next to 3 that represent Sagittarius energy, and the Sagittarius energy is all about belief in yourself. What you believe is what you become. So now, once you adequately connect to your feelings, your heart will be feeling into your daily life and environment with the heart's interest behind that exploration. Part of today's root intention is to snip out the vibration that work with your inner friendship and identify the vibes that do not bode well with your inner integrity. So integrity is the word that is coming up for me. Step 11, every time, yesterday was a step 11. Every time I experience step 11, it's kind of like, it's like integrity. You were tested with your integrity. It's the last step number of the step system. It's a Virgo energy. It's very stoic, structurized, order, right? Commitment, integrity with yourself. So, so it's like, it's very, I'm going to read again. Part of today's root intention is to sniff out the vibration that work with your new inner friendship and identify the vibes that do not bode well with your inner integrity. If you have done the prep work to emotionally connect, you will have confidence with the vibes you're picking up on. The key in chapter 2 of I Belong is to identify a daily lifestyle that embodies the higher vibration of your inner spirit. If you felt your vibration rising over the last 3 years at Serious Joy, which it happened to me because I'm over 3 years. Then this year, step 3 is when you will expand to higher knowledge of frequency and vibration. In the other years, you were becoming acquainted with metaphysics more generally. But in year step 3, your understanding will now broaden to a new realization of the connection between you and the world you call reality. Today you may see an invitation into that next dimension. Follow your curiosity. In each of your stories today, feel into the environment and daily life of each story, determine what vibes with you and what does not. In your Libra A story, okay, so it's not, it's a Libra. Your feelings today will lead you to understand more about what your heart is attracted to. Explore options for love, creativity, and fun. Today, you are expanding your long-term options for your existing relationships. These may include romantic, family, friendship, or business relationships. How do you believe your relationship needs to change this year? Today's goal is to ground your feelings in your way, then expand the love in your heart and chill world. Read the vibes. Step 12 days are about questions that lead to more questions. Yes, lovely to see you too, City Lotus. Yes. Then expand the love in your heart into your world. Read that vibes. Read that vibes. Yeah. Okay. I just Step 12 days are about question that leads to more question. In this way, you can feel your individual consciousness expanding out like limbs on a tree into different directions of exploration. When you what you walk away with on the step 3, I believe day, is a great understanding of the map. Individual details the leaves on the tree will feel over time. So maybe that's why we're expanding, and it creates more question than the answers, but it's okay. In order for us to expand, that's the Sagittarius energy, right? So it's like open it. It's just get it started with and see what happens, right? It goes like this. Oh, let's see what happens, and you worry about other things afterwards. That's definitely the energy of the day. Gary and Jason from Human Garage are Sagittarius. They were very adventurous, and we need that Sagittarius for us to expand, right? They will go, let's say there's a new thing that is happening. Okay, who's gonna try first? It's gonna be Sagittarius and the zodiac, according to the zodiac sign. And maybe Pisces is the last one. I've seen this like goat or something, that animal, like there's the lope, they have to jump over it. And there was like some goats hesitating. And who comes the first one to step over, right? To have the courage, like courageous enough to step into the unknown. That's going to be Sagittarius. So yeah, definitely that's the energy of today, is to expand. In order for us to expand, we need to tap into the unknown. And this is where I feel I've been really working through this energy. We've been working through this energy, step into the unknown. It's like, ooh, okay, I want to talk about this. So I'm able to do on Instagram Live and TikTok at the same time right now because I have 2 phones. So what happened was, when I got a new phone, I was going to give away or, sell this old phone. And I just like one day thought about, oh, why don't I go simultaneous live, my cell phone side to side? And I thought that was a great idea. So I decided to use make my old phone as like a fascia maneuvers in my job. So I can differentiate some of the footage, and it's been working great because I do a lot of footage. When I do a lot of, fascia maneuver sessions, and I want to, record. And if I have 2 phones, it's actually super, super convenient. So I love doing that. And now, when I went to Costa Rica just over a year ago, with Human Garage, that was the retreat. And we went on that adventure. We went on that waterfall. And now at the waterfall, it rained, so the water was very murky. I was ready to swim and have this, I could leave my cell phone, but nowadays, I don't know, my cell phone just lives with me, right? Like I I like, as much as I love being free, but I'm also at the same time I love capturing the moment, and the moment never come back, right? So I like having my phone. I was holding this tripod and with my cell phone attached, and I was in bikini, and I had to climb some of the rocks. So just for the convenience, because I don't want to keep holding the cell phone and tripod, I put the tripod and hooked with that the basically like the bikini, like panties right here, and it wasn't tight enough to hold. And as I was walking, I was holding, but at some point there was this cliff. Then my tripod decided to just fall off. And I was like, in that moment, my cell phone and my tripod from the cliff, probably like 5 meters down in Costa Rica, in the waterfall, in the murky water. It's just like, it was like a movie scene. And it's like, no, you didn't. And my cell phone just went along with the tripod in the water for a moment. And I was like, no. And then what I intuitively did was, I couldn't let it slide. I couldn't lose this cell phone with so much information, so much memory, or, the business. I use it, right? So in the moment, I just like, and then the water was so, the flow was so fast too and murky. I'm like, I just went in. I didn't think twice. There was no time to think. So I just like, I don't know. I slide it down the cliff, like 5 meters down. It was 5 meters. Maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe 3 meters, but it was down. And okay, I'm gonna find it. I don't know where it is, but I'm gonna find it, right? And as soon as I step into my first foot into this murky water that I can't even see, I felt a cell phone on my foot. I felt a cell phone on my, like the foot, like the bottom of my foot. And I'm like, oh, and I grabbed my phone, and there was a tripod that is floating, and I just grabbed it, right? And like, oh. And I share this in Costa Rica. I think that my lesson right now, the lesson that day was, okay, I cannot see anything, this murky water, this dirty water, but I didn't think twice. I stepped into this unknown with courage. I mean, I didn't have time to think. Step into this unknown, invisible, the invisible, with courage. And here I am, found what I needed right on my foot, right on my feet. Isn't that crazy? So this is how I interpreted it. And yeah, that was the lesson. So guys, everyone, let's step into the unknown, step into the invisible with courage. Not overthink, just do it with your soul's intention and the heart. And at the first step, you just exactly found what you needed to find. And for me, it was the cell phone. And the first step, boom, and I felt my cell phone. And my cell phone had no scratches. And yeah, it works perfectly. But you know what? I was so panicked to the point that I was shaking for a moment. Afterwards, it's like, what just happened? And but you know what? My cell phone had no scratch whatsoever. It just got wet. And so that was a lesson. And actually, Polly had a little scratch, but I had the cell phone case. And yeah, that was that. So that was my lesson. And so I think this doesn't just apply to me, it applies to everyone. everyone who's watching. Step into the unknown, step into the invisible with so much courage and determination and trust, and you will find what you were looking for right on your foot. Yeah, so awesome, right? What a cool lesson. And I'm very grateful that I'm sharing this story right now on this Sagittarius. Obviously, I think I was meant to share this, right? Yeah. So this is like super powerful. So now I feel like I have wizard oil wizardry heart. I feel like I want to use this right now. So let's if you have any essential oils, I encourage everyone to drop. And for me, this is the heart. So let's open the heart, and I'm gonna rub it in. And just ground yourself. You can do this without essential oils. I love doing this. And after that, I will clap, and I like go around my body because aura is your fascia too, and sound has frequency, and sounds are powerful, and this is how you can tune in. And my student, my clients, when who comes to my class, they were like, they watch me and then clap me without any context. It's so funny. Let's rub our nails, rub our knuckles. Yeah, clapping is super powerful. Whew. Yeah, it's all about tuning in. We're energy being, electromagnetic. Let's feel our energy. Let's place it on. Smell. And your heart. Thank you, body. Thank you, body. I see you, I feel you. Move with me with my intention. I have Alkaviva. That's a hydrogen water machine. And yeah, I love essential oils too. Do you guys have Alkaviva? So Shane from H2 Water Expert, who's a partner, a Human Garage partner, he actually from this area, Vancouver area. So I am blessed in that way. But Alkaviva is a hydrogen machine, and it has like the different levels. And level 1, acid level 1 and acid level 2 water, it's an acid water. And skin, acid water is good for your skin, basically. And I was told that for skin, for your face, acid level 1 is good, and all the other parts of your body, acid level 2. So it have more acid. Now, I woke up and I decided, I've been washing my face in the morning with Alkaviva, which is wonderful because I was just washing with the tap water. And one day I heard Gary saying that, like hydrogen water, I started to wash my face because he was traveling around. He was not able to access to, filtered water. When he takes a shower. So he was just like, I'm just going to have my Alkaviva. I'm going to bathe myself with Alkaviva. So it's like, oh my God, I should start washing my but face with Alkaviva. So now today I didn't know that I was using acid level 2, which is normally for hair and all other parts of my face except my face. And so I was washing accidentally my face with Alkaviva acid 2 water today. And then I was like washing, and I was just waking up, right? It's like, wow, this water feels so good on my skin. It's like, I'm so grateful. This is like, it's like going into my skin right now. And I look at the Alkaviva, and it was acid level 2. So that was very interesting. That was very interesting. I don't know what happened there. Yeah, I love essential oil. That's the smell. Yeah. Okay, so I think Amanie is ready. So special surprise. She was gonna go with the flow. Before Amanie comes, I wanna put that. It's Respire. This is a Respire. It's an oil, wizardry oil. It's for the Instagram and YouTube. And this is for like sinus and refreshment. So I'm just gonna put it in quickly and then do 6 breaths. 3 through the mouth and 3 from the nose. It is so simple. That really helps me elongate. So anyways, I washed my face with Alkaviva level 2 water today, and it feels great. Okay, so let's bring survival moms. And if you're watching Instagram live, I am TikTok live, I'm going to comment. Go to, okay, let me type, go to IKUEDANCER Instagram if you have Instagram, and in this comment. Okay, awesome. Doing today, and feel free to, you guys can join. Is it working? Good morning, Amanie.
Morning.
How are
I got
you?
my work. I'm doing good. I've managed to lose my voice somehow, so if you're having a hard time hearing me, please let me know.
I can hear.
Okay.
Were you screaming?
Yes, a whole lot. No, I was up late and I just woke up this morning and I sound like this and I feel fine, like I have my energy, but
Mm-hmm.
my voice is just telling me to slow down. I've got a busy weekend.
You sound sexy.
Oh, I'll rock it. I'll rock the raspy voice right now.
Yes, yes. Yeah,
And
that's so
then
crazy. Okay, do you have the essential oils? I feel
I
like
have I
okay.
have my heart chakra.
Ah, me too. I just did that heart chakra. Yeah. When Amani come, when you came, like in the middle of the class, I started to smell essential oil, and then like, oh, and what's that smell? And then I noticed you were using the heart.
Yeah. I love this is probably one of my favorite scents.
Yeah,
And so
me
I
too.
love daily. I use it daily, but it just feels comforting to me. Like it really I think my heart chakra is completely open. So when I
Yeah.
smell this, I love it. People find like I'll wear it in like a hot sauna or something, and people are like, "What is that?" And it's Palo Santo, right?
Mm.
Or San Paulo, Sao Paulo.
Oh, Palo Santo is in this heart chakra oil.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So it is, and I
oh,
really
it
like.
is.
There's
Yeah.
rose. Yeah, there's nutmeg, and so these are really just like soulful scents that for me give me a lot of comfort. One of my favorite.
Mm-hmm. I love Palo Santo.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I got
Yeah.
my Palo Santo when I went to Peru, and there was this like outside of this church, and there was this woman selling the Palo Santo, like a bunch of Palo Santo. I'm like, I'm gonna take this home.
Mm, yeah,
And
like in the
I
stick.
still have it.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's really,
I love
really
that.
nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. So whoever's watching, Amani is, I say Queen of Sea Moss, and she doesn't like me saying that.
You know, it's really nice. Like I feel like I love sea moss, but I think this plant is so blessed,
Mhm.
right? And it brought it for me, it represents like um just life. It really does represent life for me. And I really depended on this beautiful plant for such a long time. And so I admire it in such a way that I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't take credit for what, Mother Earth provides us with. And it's so incredible. And you saw my lion's mane the other day too. But
Mm.
side note, my favorite fairy tale princess was Pocahontas growing up. Like I love Pocahontas. So that was my inner child. I had a bird. I called it Flit. He'd fly outside of the cage. He'd give me kisses and he'd go back. And so I really tried to embrace Pocahontas as a
Yeah.
child because I loved nature. I loved animals.
Mm.
Like it was my life. And now being able to just provide these superfoods that I feel like I've healed myself with.
Yeah.
Um, I get to channel my inner Pocahontas,
You're a
or I
medicine
can
woman. And
yeah, become one with nature. And yeah, I have so much gratitude to all of these resources that we get.
oh,
So
that's
yeah,
amazing. Do you think you were a medicine woman in the past life? And so maybe you could have been a witch.
maybe, you know, I never thought about it. I just started now getting into like, you know, like your soul's purpose on this earth and whether, you know, you are reliving some karma from a past life. I'm really trying to dive deeper into this, so I'm still kind of navigating through it, but I don't know, like maybe I've always been passionate about it. My parents always would buy us, like we had ducks in the backyard, like who has, I had guinea pigs, I had ducks, I had goats, the neighbor had a goat, and so these were my friends growing
Oh,
up. Like
wow. That's so beautiful. Where were you born?
I was born and raised in Vancouver.
Oh,
But my childhood was just like my parents really loved animals. They grew up from a village themselves. And so yeah, I had rabbits all the time or birds. My
oh,
brother would
wow.
breed them. Like we were always in, yeah, in nature.
That's beautiful. I wasn't necessarily touched with nature a lot. Like I definitely have lots of fear of touching things. But definitely, there's a, like era phases, not phases, like when I was a child, I was touching ants and I was touching like little insects and, playing with it, right? I think that was really normal for a lot of, yeah.
Yeah,
I think, is it Katrina Katie? I have a pet deer.
that's
Wow, how that's
amazing.
possible?
Oh my
Wow.
gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, animals and I think my parents just really wanted us to be outdoors, and we had a backyard and we are like, okay, we got an apple tree, we've got some ducks, like we've got a pool back, like a little kiddie pool that we
Wow.
would play in, and so we would just spend most of our days in the backyard with
Yeah.
the neighborhood kids. And that was really my, like, just always being outdoors was kind of my love.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's beautiful.
Homeschooled on a farm, wow. Yeah, and like you learn so much from being out in the nature. I sent my Noah to a farm school, like in kindergarten. He went and learned in a barn
Yeah.
among the horses,
Oh, wow.
and they would write and create things. And so um, I had explored this world when I was leaving the school
Mm-hmm.
system. Like I was in school, I was learning in that environment, teaching in that environment, and then I took some time off and I started to just re-question how we were really intended to learn and how I grew up learning. And that was when I started like homeschooling my son. And then I sent him to the farm school. And so he's got a little bit of experience in
Wow.
all of the environments.
Oh, that's amazing. I didn't know that.
Mhm.
So Ruby Zane, I think Ruby Zane actually lives on a farm right now.
Oh,
I
wow.
homeschool and she was homeschooled, but I think she's also homeschooling her children, if I'm not wrong. Um,
Wow.
so, and then animals were definitely my BBF. Is it? You mean BFF?
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I love that idea. Like that is ultimately my dream is to live in the middle of nowhere with some farm animals and just my kids running free and just having all the things that you can need, you know, and live the simple life. I really would want.
I don't know how people does it, like lives on a farm and it's like, okay, you do you have electricity? Of course, yes. And how would you live in the middle of nothing? Like, this is just me talking about maybe I didn't grow up in a big city, but at the same time I feel like there's part of me that is so disconnected from nature. It's like how do people like raise cows and how do you do that, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of like that for me too as a child. And then my parents would take me back home to their homeland. And it was seeing my grandma live. Like she literally lived on a farm. She had her pets, she had her goats, and she had olive trees. And then so when I go there for like a month or couple weeks, it was really like snapped out of my reality out here in
Mhm.
Western world to that environment where I'm like walking down the street and like just some random farmers like, whose child are you?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't, whose child am I? Like, I don't know. Like, this is my grandma. And they're like, oh. But it's such a small community, like everyone knows everyone. You know the butcher, you know everyone, and you're really connected to every source and to your foods. So that was seeing that a little bit. I was maybe not as appreciative to it, but now I yeah, I love it.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I'm detached from that. Like even when even I am carrying that natural lifestyle.
Mhm.
But definitely, I think I would like this year to be more the year that connect with nature, connect with people. Yeah, definitely. I have had generations of deer being born here. I have watched her be
Wow.
born in my backyard. I live in Oregon. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. They're beautiful. They're beautiful and they're such finicky eaters. They're very like Bambi. I don't know. Maybe I was just like a nature Disney
Yeah,
child.
yeah,
Bambi. Yeah.
yeah. Growing up, I didn't like cats because they will scratch and they bite you, and that kind of just like caused some fear in animals for me. But it definitely like I loved feeding rabbit.
Mm.
They eat so much, right? With like they just keep eating with the leaves.
Yeah.
So I was
I think once you go out in nature, at first you're just like, oh my gosh, why am I doing this? And then after you do it more and more, you're like, wow, I really appreciate this. Oh wow, I could sit with my thoughts a little bit easier. Like there's just something very serene about being outdoors, breathing fresh air, and I loved foraging mushrooms. So
mm,
like during this season, you could go out and actually start finding some lion's mane in the fall. And if you just walk around BC, we actually have a diverse amount of mushrooms that you can forage. And
wow.
so we have a book. I wish I could go, I'm gonna go grab
Okay,
it.
okay. I mean, if you pick the wrong mushroom, then you are like, you could be top poison, right?
Yeah. So they're like you could find these books in your like sometimes in your health stores
Yeah.
and they teach you about all the different mushrooms that you could find in your environment, which ones are toxic, which ones you want to avoid, which ones are very great for you to eat. And so it's really nice. And they'll tell you what season they come out. And so we would, whenever the weather was ugly like this, we would just get into our silly putty
Yeah.
outfits, and each of my boys would have a book, and they would walk through the forest and try and identify mushrooms, for example.
That is so cute.
Mhm.
Like, do you ever pick some like good mushroom that are edible and you cooked and ate it at home?
Yeah, like so turkey tail is one of those mushrooms that has amazing anti-cancer properties. And when I was obviously healing myself, I was looking for all these mushrooms and we started discovering them on the paths that we were walking. And I actually have a jar of turkey tail that we carboxylated and made that we could consume or make in teas. And so you're gonna have me running back and forth if you don't mind, just filling in. But yeah, I could totally show you these mushrooms that we forage ourselves
Oh,
and
that's great.
mhm.
Yeah. Is it something that it would take a time? Like you have to go away for like five
Just a
minutes?
second,
Okay.
like two seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, do it, do it. She's here to share her life. That's awesome. My mom called me Snow White because all the white life gathers around me when I'm outside. That's awesome. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I love mushroom though. I think mushroom, when you look at mushroom, especially lion's mane, is very similar to our like the brain, like the nervous system. And I feel like when I eat mushroom, it's definitely helped me ground. And so if I'm not eating mushroom, then my body definitely starts to crave mushroom. And I notice, I'm taking Fascia Flow, which has Irish sea moss, but also Irish sea moss from survival moss that Amani makes, and she's a medicine woman. And do you guys have Irish sea moss? If you haven't had if you're not having Irish sea moss every day, I strongly encourage you guys to do that, because it's all really shows in my face. Like my skin is supple thanks to Irish sea moss. You can also put that on your face, but for me, it's I wouldn't say expensive, but I'm
But
like,
it's
I order
so,
my Irish sea moss that I rather want to eat.
I love, like, that's why we have an unflavored one. It's just so nice for topical use. But the
Mm,
mushrooms, we'll carry on about sea moss if you'd like in a sec, but I've got the mushrooms.
yeah.
Turkey tail is really cool because it looks like a little turkey tail, and
Hmm.
they
Oh
they're
wow.
super cute. They're little ruffled mushrooms. You find them growing off of dead woodcocks.
Uh-huh.
And if you know anything about Paul
I
Stamets,
thought
he talks about the turkey tail and how
I, I I've seen it, and I thought that's part of the tree.
yeah, it just grows off so beautifully. And you have to decomboxylate them. You cook them to a certain temperature to make it consumable. But
Mhm.
um, those I would encourage you to look because I had my little scientists figure that out. I'm not very good at figuring the details of how to preserve these so I could consume them, but I think you just dehydrate them
Mhm.
and they're very nice. Paul Stamets, he actually cured his mom's cancer
Mhm.
through these type of nootropic mushrooms. And while I was sick, I was starting to consume some of his products, and that's how we even were introduced to mushrooms. He's very knowledgeable about it, and he was kind of like the guy who was really educating people on the power of mushrooms at that time.
Oh wow.
Really cool looking cute little turkey
So
tails.
like that turkey tail, I just typed it in for
Mhm.
people. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, and so
Um,
you find them in capsules. You could get them dry like this.
mhm.
And so often some people will sell them like superfoods. It is something that I'm considering because I know people can't seem to access good turkey tail. And so maybe it will join the survival moss line, but as of right now, it's just something that I like to consume for myself.
Yeah, just as say Amani showed us how to make it in Austin. I eat it every day. I think that's a CMOS, Irish CMOS.
Yeah, Jess. Yeah, the
Yeah.
gel for sure.
Do you have a good book recommendation to learn about mushroom?
Mushrooms, well, there's so many right now. I just got a basic one that me and my kids have followed. And I also got a deck of cards for Daniel one year that has a bunch of just really popular, beautiful, majestic looking mushrooms and one common ones that you could find. And it's
Mm.
just a deck of cards that has information on the most popular ones. But I
Maybe
would just
you can
go,
post your
yeah,
book and you can share with me so I can repost and you
for
can on the stories,
sure.
right?
This
Yeah.
this one is specific to the Northwest region, and so I got one that's more for my demographic, British Columbia. And so
Mm-hmm.
this one is called Common Mushrooms of Northwest, but I
Mm.
think they have
Yeah.
one for different regions. So you might have really cool, unique mushrooms in your environment that we don't have here. But definitely, I would look at like health stores. They have a section for mushrooms now.
I love that. Okay,
Mhm.
well, let's post it and so
Yeah.
people to
Mhm.
see, and I'll share. Hi, Mimi. Thank you for the comment. Paul is like a book of knowledge. I don't know who Paul is.
Paul Stamets. Yeah. He
He's a mushroom
does
guy.
mushroom capsules, and that was our introduction to mushrooms. And I really liked it when that was all we had at the time. And then I was just like, maybe I was just becoming more curious, but I was like, I don't want rice fillers in my capsules. I don't want this capsule anymore. I just want lion's mane. And so I was getting all fancy or whatever. And so that's exactly why we went this pathway. And I know a lot of people ask us why we don't have capsules or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I think maybe it was a personal preference. Maybe it was something different than what you commonly find.
Yeah,
But
like, you know, in terms of like the RCMOS, for example, Human Garage already have that capsule in
Mhm,
Fascia Flow, and it's
mhm,
great for traveling and all of that.
yeah,
But, you know, if you have that feeling of like, oh, I don't feel like having that sensation of taking pills, then I think that's when you can come in, and it's,
yeah. And
yeah, it's
I empty
amazing.
the capsules into my drinks too. So that I'm just like that person who I'll
Oh,
take
wow.
the curcumin
Yeah.
and I'll put it in my chaga tea, and then it's like a turmeric chaga
Oh,
tea.
wow. That's amazing. I never really do that. I mean,
Me too.
when Human Garage before they had that power perk, they were testing it out, and then they had this powder, and I used to love it, but make my tongue
Yeah.
orange, and you don't want to stain your
The
clothes.
teeth. Yeah, I
And
started getting
your tongue.
orange teeth, and it was because I was having a glass of the turmeric in my tea, and so I'm like, why are my teeth going orange?
It does. It is
With the
really
turmeric.
strong. So I guess it's not for every day, but
No.
definitely. But I really I remember when I experienced this like curcumin powder, Human Garage line say I loved it. I loved it. I'm just taking it as a capsule right now, but maybe I should try as a to have the orange teeth for one day.
Yeah, try it out. And then like even the lion's mane, like if you can get access to it, my son was eating it like broccoli the other day. And I was like, you like it? He's like, and it's fluffy. And he was just eating it like cauliflower raw.
Yeah.
And you know, why not? Try it out. Like we're so scared of trying different foods, but
Mhm.
my what's the worst? You're just not gonna like it. You'll be like, not for me. Maybe next
So
time.
yeah. So for turkey tail, how do you cook and how do you eat?
I put it in with my teas. So when I'm making a shaga tea, I'll just take one or
Do
two
you
of the
you
turkey tail.
freeze dry them first?
These ones I didn't freeze dry them. I'm
Mm.
actually curious what would happen. I think it would just preserve them a little bit longer. When you dehydrate them, they're good for quite some
Yeah.
time. I was thinking I'm going to use them short term, so I didn't have enough turkey tail to fill up a freeze dryer, to run the
Mm.
freeze dryer and waste all that energy. So at that time, we just carboxylated it, meaning cooking it at a certain temperature, and then I boil it in my teas. So I'm making shaga. I'll throw one of these guys and extract that nutrient and drink it.
So you probably so before you put it in your tea, you actually kind of just like cook it in your oven, like.
Yeah, you want to look up the exact temperatures, which I don't recall right now, so I don't want them to
Okay,
be
okay. So you
misquoted. But
remember it.
look up the temperatures. You get them fresh, and then they do need to be prepared so that you can preserve it and then consume it more short term.
Oh,
And so,
okay.
yeah, and once they're dry like that, and I'm sure you could freeze dry them, but we were never able to get enough to be able to even put an amount that would be worthy of freeze drying, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So it was hard to find large amounts of them.
Mm. Jess
Mm-hmm.
said Paul Stamant. That's his name.
Paul Stamets.
We
Yeah,
Paul
yeah,
Paul Stamant. So he's the mushroom guy.
yeah. He cured his mom's cancer with mushrooms, and he was like he's a big mycologist, I believe, and so he'll tour, he'll educate people, and he's very knowledgeable. So we would go watch his videos or his lectures, and that was kind of how we got into mushrooms. But that was after I got sick, that
Mm.
we were just like, okay, we want to learn all this knowledge, and
Mm.
we foraged them ourselves.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was quite a few years of just like really diving into the mushroom world.
Mm. I
Mm.
love that. That's awesome. Like you're definitely medicine woman, and you tried RC moss. It's like, okay, how can I preserve this longer? And you came up with the idea of freeze dry them, and now you're combining that RC moss with that passion of lion's mane, and you have that combined product too, right?
Mm.
And you have
Yeah,
chaga because
our
you love
blend,
mushroom.
our
Yeah.
blend. Yeah, it's
Awesome.
really cool. Like I really love just having more knowledge, and then I would always love cooking. I grew up in a family that expresses their love through food, and sometimes our food was questionable, like why are we frying everything? Like, oh, it's so delicious, but and so that really, falling sick really had me question the habits we were taking on generationally. Like, why does this person have high cholesterol? Why does this person have fatty liver and they don't drink? Like, why? And it was me really picking apart our diet. Like, it's not genetics, we're all eating the same stuff. So, what is it that's causing these ailments? Why does? And so I picked myself apart, which probably isn't the best thing, but it was just more self-reflection on why I got where I got with my health. And then I expanded with just looking at my family members and figuring out what diagnosis or what ailments they were working with. And then that's when I was like, why? Like, why is that?
Interesting.
Hmm.
As you were talking, like I noticed my trigger. It's interesting. I noticed my trigger. I don't consider I'm a good cook. Also, I don't really enjoy cooking, and which is the opposite of what you just said. And there's part of me that, like, when you said that, like, I love cooking, and this is how I express my love. And then it's like I so crazy. Like I finding myself judging that part of myself that I don't love cooking, and I don't invest a lot of time cooking. And it's like, and in my head as I'm listening, I'm like, no, I am going to be kind to myself. It's okay that
Yeah.
I don't enjoy cooking, but it's not that I don't do anything, right?
Hmm.
So it's kind of like, yeah, in the beginning of the live today, I'm talking about, shadow aspect of ourselves. It's just the area that we just need to shed the light by just loving ourselves more. It's okay. It's like we can learn. And like, for me, my weak spots is driving. Driving and cooking. And I feel like these, if I'm able to overcome, I feel like it's like the part of me feel like, okay, now I can officially become an adult woman. But I think it's just everyone's got something, and we're just all working through it. And when we have like the weak spots, just be kind, extra gentle. and
Hmm.
and if you dig deeper into that, for you, like on the health area, and you become the medicine woman, and that becomes your life purpose too,
Yeah,
right?
but not to say that you don't have phases. Like when I felt ill, it wasn't like I was always living this lifestyle. It was like I felt disconnected at times. I didn't have that motivation always. And there are times where I don't even cook. And culturally, my mom is of this generation where that's what she does. Like she'll wake up in the morning, she's thinking about what to make.
Yeah.
And for me, I find that daunting. Like I'm overwhelmed, and I'm just like, I'm so glad to be your daughter because I get to enjoy this, but I don't get the anxiety of preparing that or to knowing
Yeah,
the menu du jour. Like, what is this?
I
So,
totally get that. Like, how do you do that
yeah.
now?
And then becoming a mom and then having to do lunches and all these things, it became a dread. So
Okay.
I paint it out to say like I do love this. It's when I had time, when I had that
Mhm.
time to sit with myself and say, oh, what do I want to make this beautiful meal today.
Yeah.
And it was no pressure.
Yeah.
That's when I felt the most creative, the most expressive, and more at ease.
Mm-hmm.
The pressure behind it is really daunting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there were times that I was on a strike. Like I wouldn't make food in my household. I was like, I'm doing too much else. I can't, you guys. I can't. I'm
I
not.
can't, you guys. I'm on strike. Your mom is on strike. I love that.
Yeah.
It's interesting though, like, we're all unwinding our patterns, and there's a lot of fear programming or the cultural programming that we were just subconsciously programmed or sign up to, subscribe to somehow. And I know there's a part of me that is like, that got me where I am, but at the same time, it's like almost detrimental. The things that coming up, I'm going back to Japan and definitely working on some of the trauma, but I am very stoic, like good trait, but showing up, like consistency. That's just in me, you know. I will never get off the treadmill if we're going to get together, you know. Like it's like I'm gonna continue, right? But at the same time, it's like okay, there's this pattern that is like I'm pushing, and I will never get off this treadmill. At the same time, it is normal. It is natural for me, you know. And then Christmas time, around the Christmas time, I had a lot of time. Like I didn't know, like I didn't know what to do with myself, you know, that kind of freedom, which is beautiful. And that's when I noticed, like, why don't I bake something? I would never think like that, right? And I cook something. It's like, wow, I just proved to myself that I could bake something. And I was so proud of myself. And I was just for a second. And now I went back to my old life.
Yeah, no, but it's doing things like this. I'm scared of baking. So I will cook because there's no recipe to follow. So I'm always like, pinch of salt, dash of pepper. I feel like,
Mhm.
okay. But when it comes to baking, it's like a science to me.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I can't even I can't even make pancakes. So we all have our strengths, we all have our weaknesses, and
Yeah.
it's okay to lean into those. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm going to try making pancakes today, even though I burn them all the time. I don't know how to do them.
Pancakes I can. So that's okay.
See,
That gave me confidence.
it's simple. It's
Lorraine,
really simple.
balancing lotus. I get that. Hi, Lorraine. I get that same. Food can be simple parts of the day. Just eat.
And we don't even need to eat very much. That's like
Mhm.
another thing that I started to pick apart in our habits that we were taking on just as a family or just as my surrounding is we food is an addiction and
Yeah.
and it was like nothing's in my mouth, what am I going to eat? And it's like no, like give your body a chance to digest,
My. It's
to
so.
heal, to
Mhm.
do what else it's supposed to do. If you're just eating all the time, you're like preserving, like that time is always designated to
Yeah.
digestion.
My mom, you know, trained me or taught me to eat 3 times a day because otherwise we won't have energy. And
Mhm.
my mom also said Japanese need to eat rice because this is how we get energy from. And so, do you know udon noodle, Japanese udon noodle, the
Mhm.
white?
Yes,
Um,
yeah.
in my household, we eat udon, and my mom served me rice on the side.
Oh,
And that's a lot of carbs. And then she'll be like eating udon on the side, and she'll be like, oh, well, I need to eat rice to get that real energy from. So why do you eat? Why are you eating udon for? So
I relate.
it's funny.
My mom will eat rice and then they'll grab pita bread and then they're eating rice and pita bread. Like, what are you guys doing? And so picking that apart, you're like, what nutrition is in there? And then what kind of bread and rice are you eating? And then you're like, okay, well that's why. That explains why. These are not genetics necessarily all the time. They're habits that are passed on. And
Mhm.
yeah, now I really look at everything that I eat from that kind of perspective a little bit. Like not extreme,
Mhm.
but awareness.
Yeah, awareness.
Mhm.
Sometimes, like, when I walk around, like, grocery store, I just get really sad. It's like I feel like I don't have any food to buy from. Like it's like, oh, this is chemical, this is chemical. It's okay, this is organic. Are you really organic? Like
Yeah.
it's like I started to get really picky, and then it's just like, oh, I used to enjoy this, but not anymore.
Mhm.
It's like
Yeah.
very sadness. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and I think you go through these phases. Like I definitely went through them at one point. I was just like reading and wanting to learn about superfoods, but also about fasting, the power of
Hmm.
fasting. And then I remember reading a lot of Dr. Sebi's work, and he'd be like, people are complaining that they're so sick, they're not feeling well. All you gotta do is close your mouth. Like just stop eating.
Very
Okay.
true.
Mm.
That's where I go
Like,
when I get overwhelmed or like, okay, well, worst case, not even worst case, probably the best case is not eat.
yeah. And he's like, you will like one on a cellular level, you like regenerate and you know the old ones die off and the nice great cells are still um alive. And so it's like fasting is so good for us for so many reasons. But when he said it like that, I'm like laughing, like, okay, yeah, I guess we just need to stop eating in a sense that if everything we're putting in our mouth is not helpful to our body, then the easiest solution would be is to not eat it at all. And you're
Yeah.
already doing your body such a great, tremendous,
Also, it's by knowing that, okay, if fasting is good, take away the fear, right? Because fear makes us do certain things, and fear makes us die. Like, we die from fear.
yeah,
If we know that eating is necessary, and as soon as we don't get access to food, then people will die if you have that programming. But if you have, but if you can access to food, but you know that, oh, fasting is actually good and I can still go in, then these people will probably leave.
yeah.
So,
Challenging is not to say it tests you on so many levels, like spiritually you start like it leaves you with your thoughts, so you're really reflecting, but at the same time that deprivation of not eating
mhm.
makes me wonder what were you doing with your time. Like we spend so much time eating or preparing food and all of these things that we don't really think about. And then so when you're not eating, you're like, wow, what do I do with this time now? I'm not preparing meal, which is like 1 to 2 hours. I'm not eating, which is another 1 hour. Like that's 3 hours right there.
Yeah,
Extra.
that's when we get to be creative, right? Like at first there's a shock. It's like, oh my God, I don't know what to do with myself. To, okay, let's just maybe color a book into, it's like, oh, this is interesting. I like doing this, right?
Yeah.
And I think when we are a child, we had that a lot of time to do sort of things. And at some point, like I had to shut down that part of myself, and I joined this army of labor work. And my dad, as much as he supported me all the way, but he never really believed in artistic work. It's like, oh, does that make money kind of thing? So
I
very
relate.
interesting.
I relate to this. I was always artsy fartsy. They used to call me artsy fartsy. Because if you're artsy, you're just fartsing around. Like, I don't know. So, um, but yeah, it's why we became teachers, right? Because we get to express that art
Mhm.
through profession, our professionalism, but also it's our inner child that gets to kind of express the way it feels best. And so I understand
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, yeah. It's all the balance, right? We're finding the perfect balance inside of us, and then yeah, working through all this trauma. And in this, like, I today's theme was definitely about step into the unknown with courage, determination, and trust. And I share this episode, this experience that I had in Costa Rica, where I accidentally dropped my cell phone from the cliff and into a murky water in the waterfall, and it just really happened. And it's like it's a movie scene, and I'm like, oh no, she didn't. And I just didn't think twice and go into this murky water. And as soon as I step onto the first foot, and I found myself on my foot, like on the bottom of my foot.
Wow.
And so I just share this, and I think today's energy is definitely about step into the unknown with courage, trust, determination. And from there, when bringing back this inner child, where it's maybe buried somehow, right? And embrace this unknown, because when we are unknown, I think there's everything, right?
Yeah.
All the possibilities. So that is very, very interesting. Yeah. Amani, if you're done, I picked two cards, and you can kind of just listen, because
Mhm.
I normally pick
I
two
love
cards,
that.
talk about it. Today's energy step 12, I picked this first card. Tune into your inner peace, and you can change the world when you practice peace. And there's a deep place deep within you that is a reservoir or unlimited peace and unshakable serenity, a place filled with love and compassion, empathy, and understanding, forgiveness, and freedom, a place called bliss, nirvana, samadhi, enlightenment, whatever you want to call it. It is there waiting within to be witnessed. If you pull this card, it's a call to come home to your sacred center. We all crave security, even wanderlust, have a need for certainty about something, but where does this need come from? Nothing in nature is fixed or forever. We know our bodies, our surroundings, and even the air we breathe is constantly shifting. Change is the only constant. All great philosophers speak of this still point, like still point, calming point we seek to find through quieting the mind. In Zen, there is the idea that if you accept what is, you will end suffering. Simply put, stop resisting what has happened, learn the lesson, and then let go.
Wow.
That's the energy. And there's one more card that I picked. And let me just fix the TikTok. It's so funny if I don't do anything on Instagram, they will be like a Netflix, like you're still online, and then they make you
Mm.
a puzzle, like they move the piece, and
Prove
then
you're a human.
making sure you're not a bot. Yeah, it's really funny. Okay, now the other card that I pick is you are pure magic. Just in case you've forgotten your pure magic, baby. You were born a dreamer, but most likely you buried your magic along the way. You may have forgotten you have this incredible manifesting power to create life, new ideas, inventions, connections, beauty, joy, and most importantly, love. Everyone possesses magic, but only those willing to take charge of their lives and put it in the work will activate its potential. Sipping into your magic requires that you leave your old limited beliefs behind, examine your intentions, and discover who you really are. Magic is not something you do, magic is something you are. And and that's a quote. Stop waiting for someone else to create a perfect world, the perfect product, the perfect you name it. You were born to use your magic power and contribute your unique energy to the world. You were destined for a life of magic if you just believe in the possibility of your dream. Yeah,
I love that one.
yeah.
So
I
cool.
think that's the energy, like there will be no perfect world, like period, right? There will be no perfection. As soon as you reach that perfection, there'll be another expansion coming. So if you're just reaching for the goal and if you're not embracing the process, that's when we really blindsided, blindfolded, right? And we're not seeing, but just the moment by moment and just you know I think it's every moment is about embracing and loving yourself, and by doing that you are you are contributing to the world in your own unique way. And Amani has that life purpose to like enlighten everybody with that amazing CMOS.
Well, you
And
like, yeah, like everyone like shows their love, and we see it through the Human Garage community. Like we are all very unique characters that bring such a beautiful thing to this whole unit, you know? And I that's why I feel the most at home. Like these are my people because I connect with everyone on such a deep level, and I see their passions and their excitements and the beauty that they bring. It makes us all in harmony, really.
yeah, definitely. Like we don't have to have that same skill set. It's just like the different people contribute and then we just kind of, yeah, just
We're learning
shine
from each
our own light.
other. Yeah, we're like expanding our knowledge. And like you said, like this is us leaning into the discomfort, like where I'm not really good at these lives, but I love watching you because uplift my spirit. I really sometimes will be like, oh, what kind of day is this? And then when I get to watch you, I'm like, okay, this is my reminder. This is my daily reminder. And we all need that, right?
Mhm.
And sometimes it's just such a beautiful inspiration to see other people be able to really this embody your true essence with me. Like I love the name, and I'm just like, that is really perfect.
Thank you.
Um, yeah.
Love that.
And leaning into the discomfort, leaning into our insecurities, it really just allows us to expand our knowledge and understand our flaws, our weak points, and then we're more familiar and comfortable with addressing them. You either
Mm.
like avoid it and pretend it's not there forever, or you acknowledge like, hey, like there's so many things in my behavior, my tendencies that I think back and I say, whoa, like maybe that's not how I want to represent myself. Maybe I'm not expressing myself in the best way right now. And that's dealing with that, like acknowledging that you have these versions that you don't love.
And then you
Really,
catch yourself when you're judging yourself with that, for the
yeah,
toxic pattern. And it's
it's
like, okay,
triggering. It's
it's like,
triggering. You're like, no,
yeah,
I'm
I
not.
know. It's like, okay, I know, I don't, it's for me, I have a driver's license. I'm like fully class 5. I just have lots of fear, but it's like, okay, I love myself regardless. If I absolutely need to drive, I'll do it.
You see me driving in downtown, it's downtown. I don't know.
I
There's
know.
a cyclist. Why are there bikes on the road? Like I just can't. I need less bikes on the road.
Right.
Less people crossing the streets all the time. Like it's downtown. I'm scared of driving downtown too.
Yeah, people say that, right? Yeah. So just like going to be kind to myself, like, okay, I'm not really good at cooking, I acknowledge that, but okay, I'm gonna be kind to myself and unwinding all the patterns that hold me back and even the shadows. It's like, it's okay. I love you. I love myself regardless. And let's move. And, just at the end of it, it's okay to be imperfect, right? Like, it's okay.
Yeah, and you did explore the baking and you're like, wow, I did this. And then you do it again and you're like, well, I really like this recipe. This is going to be my new thing. And before you know it, it was just doing it
Yeah,
that had to get you to like, cool, like you get cold feet at first. And so easing into it really
yeah,
helps our mind not have that fear around it anymore. The more we do it, we get desensitized. That was something I would do. It's like anything that scared me, that would make my heart stop, I would do it just to kind of be like, I did it.
yeah. That's expansion, right? That's the energy of today, definitely Sagittarius. Thank you, Amani. This was great. You can hop on. Everybody can hop on if you have something to talk about. And I really appreciate your time. Like we talked for a very long time
Thank
today.
you. Thank you for
Love
having
that.
me.
I'll keep in touch. And thank you,
Mhm.
everybody, for watching. I'll be posting this later.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.